Warren Buffett has repeated one warning for decades, and it's the one the middle class keeps ignoring. If you don't understand what he's been saying, you could be making the biggest financial mistake of your life right now. Before we dive into Buffett's warning, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss future insights that could protect your financial future. Trust me, you'll want to stay updated on this. Now, who is Warren Buffett, and why should you listen? This man isn't just wealthy. He's the Oracle of Omaha, one of the richest people on the planet. But here's what makes him different from every other billionaire out there. Buffett didn't inherit his fortune. He didn't create a tech unicorn overnight. He built his wealth over decades using principles so simple that a fifth grader could understand them. Yet, he's watched the American middle class make the same devastating mistakes year after year. So what exactly has Buffett been warning us about? There's a quote many people associate with him that captures his philosophy perfectly. If you buy things you don't need, you'll soon sell things you do need. Sounds simple, right? Almost too simple. But this statement contains a financial truth that's destroying middle-class wealth at an unprecedented rate. Let me break down exactly what this means and why it's more critical today than ever before. The average American household now carries tens of thousands of dollars in personal debt, excluding mortgages. Credit card debt alone has surpassed $1 trillion nationally. We're living in what Buffett calls the age of instant gratification, where buying what we want, when we want it, has become normalized. But here's where it gets fascinating and dangerous. Buffett understands something most people don't. This isn't just about money. It's about psychology. Every time you make an impulse purchase, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released during gambling or eating chocolate. And companies know this. They've weaponized it. Targeted ads, one-click purchasing, buy now, pay later schemes. They're all engineered to bypass your rational thinking and trigger that dopamine hit. Let me paint you a picture. Sarah, a middle-class professional making a solid income, sees everyone around her with the latest iPhone, driving newer cars, wearing designer brands. She thinks, I work hard, I deserve this too. So she finances the phone, leases the car, maxes out the credit card for the wardrobe. Now Sarah's paying hundreds of dollars a month just in payments for things that are already losing value. That adds up to thousands every year. Over a decade, we're talking about massive amounts, plus interest. And here's the kicker. If Sarah had invested that same amount in a basic index fund matching Buffett's recommended approach, she'd have built serious wealth. The cost isn't just what you pay, it's what you could have built. Pause. If you remember only one thing from this video, it's this. Payments steal freedom. Every monthly payment is a chain. Now let's see how deep this trap really goes. But the warning goes deeper. Notice the second part. You'll soon sell things you do need. This is where the real tragedy unfolds. This is the cascading effect that traps millions of families. It starts innocently enough. Maybe you lose your job, or face an unexpected medical bill, or your car breaks down. But because you've been buying things you don't need, you have no emergency fund, no safety net, no cushion. Now you're forced into impossible choices. Do you sell the second car you actually need to get to work? Do you raid your retirement account, paying penalties and taxes, sacrificing your future? Do you sell your home at a loss because you can't make the payments? Buffett has watched this pattern repeat through every economic downturn. The 2008 financial crisis, the 2020 pandemic, and he knows another downturn is always coming. The families who survive and thrive are those who heeded his warning. The ones who suffer are those who didn't. So what's Buffett's alternative? How do you escape this trap or avoid it entirely? He's given us a blueprint that anyone can follow regardless of income. First, pay yourself first. Before you pay any bill, before you buy anything, set aside a portion of your income and put it where you can't easily touch it. Buffett himself lived on a small fraction of his income when he was starting out. He understood that wealth isn't what you earn, it's what you keep. Second, distinguish ruthlessly between needs and wants. Buffett still lives in the same house he bought decades ago for a fraction of what he could afford now. He doesn't need a mansion. He doesn't need a yacht. He knows the difference between enough and excess. Before every purchase, ask yourself, will I still value this in 5 years? Does this move me closer to financial freedom or further away? Am I buying this because I need it or because I'm being influenced? Third, understand compound interest, what Einstein allegedly called the eighth wonder of the world. This is Buffett's secret weapon. When you invest money instead of spending it, that money makes more money. Then, that money makes even more money. Let me show you the power of this. If a young person invests consistently over decades, even modest amounts can grow into substantial wealth. This is how the wealthy build dynasties. Not through high incomes, through patience and compound growth. Fourth, build your financial fortress before your luxury castle. Buffett recommends having several months of expenses in an emergency fund. This isn't boring, this is freedom. This is the difference between being forced to take a bad job offer and being able to wait for the right one. Between staying in a toxic situation and having the power to leave. Quick test. If you lost your income for 60 days, would your lifestyle survive? If not, this next part is for you. Now, this warning has been repeated for decades, but it's more relevant today because the traps have multiplied. Let me show you the modern wealth destroyers that didn't exist when Buffett was building his fortune. Streaming services, music platforms, app subscriptions, meal kits, subscription boxes. They're designed to be only $10 or $15 a month. But add them up, the average American now spends hundreds of dollars a month on subscriptions. That's thousands of dollars a year slipping away almost invisibly. Social media has turned spending into a competitive sport. You're not just buying a product anymore, you're buying status, validation, the illusion of keeping up. Instagram isn't just showing you your friends' lives, it's showing you a curated highlight reel designed to make you feel inadequate unless you consume. Services like Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna have made it easier than ever to finance everything from sneakers to coffee makers. They don't feel like debt because there's no credit card involved, but it's still debt. It's still spending money you don't have on things you probably don't need. Let me show you what ignoring this warning actually costs over a lifetime. Let's take two people, both starting out with the same income. Person A lives the typical middle-class lifestyle. New car every few years, always financed. Latest technology, always upgraded, nice vacations on credit. Designer purchases to project success. By retirement, they have minimal savings, still carrying debt, and facing a retirement income far less than what they need. Person B takes this philosophy seriously. They drive reliable used cars, paid in cash. They invest the difference. They vacation modestly and invest the rest. They buy quality items that last rather than cheap items that need replacing. By retirement, they have built substantial wealth. They retire early if they want. They have choices. They have freedom. Same starting point, same income, radically different endings. The only difference? One understood that buying things you don't need eventually forces you to sell things you do need. The other learned it too late. So how do you start implementing Buffett's wisdom today? I'm going to give you a practical action plan you can start within the next 24 hours. Track every single purchase for the next 30 days, every coffee, every app, every impulse buy. Most people have no idea where their money actually goes. You can't change what you don't measure. Set up automatic transfers to savings and investment accounts on the day you get paid. If it's automatic, you don't have to rely on willpower. Make saving the default. not the afterthought. Implement the 72-hour rule for any non-essential purchase over a certain amount. Wait 3 days. If you still want it and can explain why it's worth the trade-off, then consider it. You'll be shocked how often the urge passes. Create a compelling vision of your financial future. What does financial freedom look like for you? Is it retiring early? Starting a business? Traveling the world without debt? Having the option to help your kids with college? Make it vivid. Make it personal. This becomes your North Star when temptation strikes. Find your financial community. Whether it's online forums, local meetups, or just one accountability partner, surround yourself with people who share your values. It's nearly impossible to swim upstream alone. When everyone around you is consuming mindlessly, you need allies who are building intentionally. But here's the deeper truth that Buffett wants you to understand. This isn't really about money at all. It's about freedom. It's about choices. It's about not being a slave to your possessions or your creditors. Every dollar you spend on something you don't need is a piece of your freedom. You're trading away. Every payment you commit to is a promise that future you will show up to a job, any job, to make that payment. Every debt you carry is a restriction on your choices. Buffett has spent decades studying what creates lasting wealth and happiness. And here's what he's learned. It's not the stuff. The happiest, most fulfilled people aren't those with the most possessions. They're those with the most options, the most security, the most freedom to make choices based on values rather than financial pressure. If this video opened your eyes to the truth about middle-class wealth building, smash that like button. It helps us reach more people who need to hear Buffett's warning before it's too late. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because we're going to continue breaking down wealth-building wisdom from the world's most successful investors. Insights that could change the trajectory of your financial life. This warning isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. Because right now, at this very moment, you have a choice. You can continue down the path of buying things you don't need, slowly trading away your freedom and your future. Or you can make a different choice. Years from now, you'll look back at this moment. Will you remember it as the day you finally understood the trap? Or as the day everything changed? The choice is yours, but make it count.